From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is a tropical weather update.
Fred Gossage here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center on this October 17th, 2025 with the afternoon edition of your tropical weather update. We're still watching our tropical disturbance out here in the central Atlantic that will be moving gradually toward the Caribbean over the next several days. Now has a 30% chance of developing once it gets over into the Caribbean next week. We'll talk about that in detail here in just a moment. We also have a little 10% area up here in the northern Atlantic. That's mainly a non-tropical low pressure. It may take on some subtropical characteristics. Very low threat of anything happening. If something does develop, it will be kicking off to the northeast, so not a threat to any land area. So we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on our central Atlantic disturbance that will eventually be moving into the Caribbean. And you can see it here. It's still disorganized, but it's a little more put together than it was yesterday. It's still interacting with some wind shear here, so that's going to keep it held back for the next few days as it moves off to the west-northwest, eventually getting into the Caribbean as we head into next week. And I think by the middle of next week or so, there is the potential for some development with it, although it may be gradual and slow development. From there, we'll be watching carefully. Models are kind of waffling back on how strong it will be, where it will track. A lot of models are pulling it northeastward out of the Caribbean into the west and central Atlantic and away from the United States. We'll be watching that. That actually becomes a more common storm track for systems in the Caribbean the deeper we get into late October and as we approach early November. So that's actually not out of the ordinary for this late in the season. We'll be watching it. A lot of time between now and then, a lot of uncertainty. So no reason to be alarmed or anything like that. We'll just be paying attention in the days ahead. Meanwhile, across the rest of the Western Atlantic, here's the big low pressure system. This is the remnant circulation of the nor'easter that we had on the East Coast over the weekend. There's some slight potential for that to gain subtropical characteristics, but it's mainly a frontal type low pressure, which is why you see the big band of clouds and showers and thunderstorms here. So no organized tropical activity with any of these thunderstorms expected. A lot of wind shear in here along the frontal boundary. And then as we slide over into the eastern Atlantic, the intertropical convergence zone gradually sinking southward with time as it does this time of year, and not seeing any truly organized tropical waves out here. We're starting to get this part of the Atlantic season coming to a close. We're starting to come to the time period in the season when you stop paying attention consistently to waves out here because they have less and less of a chance of developing. As you get more wind shear out here, the intertropical convergence zone starts shifting southward into more unfavorable areas of development, and we start shifting closer to home, watching the Caribbean very carefully. So we'll watch out here, but not seeing anything imminent, and we're starting to move out at that time of year. Next name on the list is Melissa. We'll see if we have a couple more systems here. I do think we could. After the Caribbean system even, we could see a couple more systems, but I do think we are, before long, going to be ramping things down as we start to get cold fronts continuing to come southward across the United States and things stabilize. But the Atlantic hurricane season officially goes all the way through the end of November, so we'll be watching things carefully in the days and weeks ahead. That's it from the Weather Center this Friday afternoon. We'll have tropical weather updates through the weekend every afternoon at 3 p.m. with Chase Wilson. You can catch that right here on the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.